What is going on, guys? We are back here with another World of Warcraft video. In today's video, we are going to be going over the upcoming Mythic Sepulcher tuning or nerfs to the bosses. And as you can see by the title, even more massive nerfs coming. Yes, if you have looked at some of the prog stats and things like that, there still is not a lot of guilds that have killed Jailer, have killed Ragallon, have killed Lords of Dread, that have even killed Anduin. So this is definitely needed. Nerfing these bosses was the best decision. Again, nerfing them again is the best decision Blizzard could have done. Now I've seen a couple of them. My guildies have kind of reacted to a couple of them, and I've kind of read a bit about it. But for the most part, I have not seen any of these. So these are my true reactions to most of the nerfs. All right, let's scroll down. We've heard feedback that several encounters in Sepulcher, the first ones, would benefit from adjustments as they are too difficult due to punishing mechanics, and we want to further reduce the likelihood that those mechanics can quickly cause an unrecoverable wipe. Good decision. As we've learned, basically almost every single fight in the raid has one singular mechanic that, if not done correctly, will wipe you, and that is very bad because, yes, having your entire group perform as the best of their abilities is a terrible thing. We want it to happen, but someone's going to always mess up every single pull. You just hope that it isn't on the mechanic that's going to wipe you. This is interesting. We've also sent feedback, or probably seen feedback, that the Lifahum encounter was too constrained due to the difficulty of some of the automa, so we want to make adjustments to open the possibility of different strategies to players. At this time, we plan to make the following adjustments with the scheduled weekly maintenance on Tuesday, June 21st. It is June 17th. So let's start. Lifahum. His health reduced by 15% on Mythic difficulty. Now, this is already a health nerf. I think they nerfed it by 15% the last nerf, so they are nerfing it again. I mean, this is a fine nerf, right? Just reducing the health, making this boss a little bit easier to kill. I think you were already lusting on pull after the most recent nerfs, but I don't know how the health nerf is going to really change it. I haven't fought this boss at all since it was nerfed, so my guild's still progging. Renonance Cascade damage reduced by 90% on Mythic difficulty? 90%? What? Alright, so let's figure out what this mechanic is. I don't even know what... I think this is the tank ability. Very confused by that nerf. I didn't know the tank ability was difficult to deal with, but I can understand why. Like, it can just straight up one-shot you, but sure. Fine nerf. Increase the cooldown of Guardian Atoma's Form Sentry Atoma on Mythic difficulty. Now, this can be interesting because, as you do know, you always try and kill... Really? I'm so confused by these nerfs. Guardian Atoma. Okay. I didn't even know that was a problem. Actually, it is, yeah, because you're killing... Sure, this fight wasn't really that difficult in the first place. It was an annoying fight, but sure, let's nerf that, sure. Halandrus, aftershock damage reduced by 75% on Mythic difficulty. Wow, so there is absolutely no damage on this fight now. You can just basically ignore most mechanics. Planet Cracker beam damage reduced by 65% on, and its damage occurs less frequently on Mythic difficulty. Oh. So this is heroic. This is heroic now. Like, you couldn't stand in this at all without a CD, or you would die. So now you can probably do a defensive and walk through it, which is really good for P2. Because you might need to run through it to soak a ball. But honestly, Halandrus was a joke after the nerf anyway, so yeah. Anduin Rin, he gets nerfed again. Big boy going down. Alright. Hopelessness and overconfidence duration increased to 16 seconds on all difficulties was 12. So this is blasphemy. Basically, you have so much time to do this mechanic now that this is insane. Like, you should never wipe to this mechanic, like, ever. Blasphemy will no longer be triggered when coming in contact with an unmarked player on Mythic difficulty. So this is heroic. This was all of the progression. This was like 100 pulls. Learning this is 100 pulls. But now you just do it exactly like you did on heroic. I mean, that's fine. He's an 8th boss. An 8th boss should not be a 200 pull boss. So I'm fine with this. Just sucks to see that one of the harder mechanics of it was changed. Yeah. March of the Damned damage reduced by 75% on all difficulties. I'm assuming this means it won't one-shot you now, as it used to one-shot you on Mythic as a DPS without a cooldown. So basically this is saying if the wall spawns on you, you're not going to die instantly. Sure, that's a fine change. The wall was a learning curve in the intermission. It was what you were learning in the intermission for the most part. So yeah. Soul explosion damage and travel speed reduced by 30% on all difficulties. That's great. This means that ranged DPS that are baiting or healers that are baiting can now do more DPS or heal in the intermission. Makes the intermission easier. Allows you to do way more damage to Anduin in the first place. Great change. Banished soul cast time increased to 16 seconds on Mythic difficulty, was 12 seconds. This is an okay change. I don't really think this was needed to be changed for the most part. Because like you only really needed like 2 stuns anyway. I think this might be a reactionary change to the Destruction Warlock nerf where the Infernal no longer CCs, which is fine. Because that's how you dealt with it. Your Warlock would just rain a fire and it would just stun them. But now you just, cap totem like sweep. Sure, this change won't really... Maybe it'll save you like 10 pulls in your entire progression on Anduin. Necrotic detonation cast time increased by 30%. So not only did they nerf the big guy, the patchwork guy's health... They now increase the cast time. That's crazy. They basically just removed the entire hard part of the intermission. Like this was majority of it was targeting intermission and then obviously targeting P1. And I guess P2 a little bit. Yeah, this kind of helps not P2, the last phase, P3. So, yeah, so they just basically hit the intermission hard, which is fine. So surprised there's no P2 nerfs in the sense that Grim Reflection's cast time is increased or that they only get to a certain amount of cast time because that is still a difficult part of the fight, even with the health nerfs. Raglan, Dark Eclipse now targets 3 players on Mythic difficulty, was 4. This is a good change for the fact that if someone accidentally soaks 1 Quasar, you do not instantly wipe. This will still be one of the harder parts to learn in Raglan, of course, just to make sure that people get it done in time and they die in time and that, things like that. But this should make this like a 30-40 pull boss. It's virtually heroic now. Unstable matter health reduced by 25% on Mythic difficulties. Interesting change for the fact that most guilds are already killing this way too fast. So sure, nerf that, I guess. I don't think this maybe will save you like 5 pulls on your pull count. But this was not stopping guilds from progressing, whereas this mechanic 100% was stopping guilds from progressing. Jailer. So my guild's currently progressing Jailer. So let's see what is nerfed. Torment damage reduced by 30% on Mythic difficulty. Great. There is too much damage going on in this fight. Torment damage, great. Get that out of there. Extra damage, no more. We do not want this. This is just overall, yeah, this is going to allow your healers to keep everyone alive. Unholy Eruption damage reduced by 30% on Mythic difficulty. What is Unholy Eruption? Let's go take a look at that. It is probably a tank mechanic that I just do not care about. Oh, okay, no, never mind. This is just initial damage when the pillar spawn. So reducing overall damage to P2, great. P2 has a lot of damage. It is very difficult on your healers, actually. So that's good. Rune of Compulsion absorbed, reduced by 30% on Mythic difficulty. Let's go! This mechanic sucks. So this is the mind controls in P2. I am really glad that they are targeting P2 because P2 is definitely other than the first phase, P2 is definitely a high learning curve because it has lots of movement, it has lots of like positioning requirements and everything like that. Good change. Chainbreaker now targets the nearest 3 allies on Mythic, was 4. This is a great change. This reduces the damage that you take from breaking all the chains at the same time. And this also if you get to a point where you have to run around with the chains and you can't break them all at the same time, less people are taking the ticking damage. Great change, great change. Incarnation of Torment, health reduced by 20% on mythic difficulty. This is another good change. This just allows you to kill these ads a lot faster, worry a lot less about the CCs, and allows you to put more damage into the jailer himself. Diverted life shield reduced by 75% on mythic difficulty. Alright, so if you don't know what diverted life shield is, basically when you get the boss to 15% health now, he puts up a shield, and he basically walks to Azeroth, and he does a whole bunch of garbage and stuff like that. And basically you have to damage through the shield, and then you get to start attacking his health pool again. This was about a 6 million health shield. This is one of the things that I did see my guildies talking about, because now this is from about 6 million health to about 2 million. So it's going to melt. It is going to melt. So basically, once you hit P4, you're virtually Lust, and you just kill the boss, which is great. Learning P4 looks like a struggle for the most part. But yeah, this is good. This is good. Good nerf. Good nerf. Just basically reducing the health of Jailer without, like, reducing the health of the Jailer. Chains of Anguish will no longer reposition link targets when the primary target moves out of range on mythic difficulty. Sure. I guess this is a good change. I think this helps for tanks that are not warrior, demon hunter, monk, because I think like guardian druid, prot paladin, and blood death knight could not like blink away and instantly break all the chains at once, so people are going to get pulled to them. So basically this just allows them to run away and break all the chains at once without being one of those 3 tanks. Sorry, I guess you might not have been able to see it while I was reading it, but there we go. Great changes. Overall, good changes. I'm glad to see that they finally nerfed the Jailer again, and they nerfed Anduin again, because those were the 2 toughest fights in the entire raid. But yeah, thanks for watching this video. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.